Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Wake me up when September ends.
Dependent military families, the husbands and wives of the men and women in the military, has begun conducting briefings for dependents. These would be the dependents that are stationed on near the East Coast, the Atlantic Ocean, near the West Coast, the Pacific Ocean, and near the Gulf Coast. At these briefings, they're being told the following: that there's this planetary-sized object called NIBIRU that's coming into our solar system. It's going to be causing very severe problems, much more so than it already is, very soon, and that they're being put on standby to bug out. They're being told that there'll be little notice, possibly 2 weeks or so, before they're given the notice to bug out. Oh, they're also, by the way, they're being shown a map. Advance 4 to 6 weeks is probably pretty likely. Probably not more than 3 or 4 months. So that's our belief. I hope we're wrong. I hope that this turns out to be incorrect information. If it is, well, that's great. If it's not, if it turns out to be correct, then you've got your heads up. So I asked the question this morning to all of you out there, to the several thousand of you listening to me on the morning of July 11th. What would you do if you had 6 years to prepare? What would you do if you had 6 months to prepare? What would you do if you had 6 weeks to prepare? Mike, it was 2 weeks ago today that I announced the information I received from 2 confidential sources. One was a confidential source who is a dependent of a Department of Defense employee, part of continuity of government contingency planning, by the way. Not all DOD and not all government employees are part of COG, continuity of government contingency planning. Anyway, at this briefing, which they had to sign a non-disclosure agreement before the briefing began, they were told that they were being put on standby for evacuation, that they may get as much as 2 weeks' notice, they may not, and they started telling these dependents about NIBIRU, Planet X, and how this planetary-sized object was going to cause massive flooding on all coastal areas. And that was pretty much it for that source. The second source is in the Department of Homeland Security, and that source basically confirmed what the first source said without going any further on that. And then the following day, or the same day, I should say,